What do you think about the use of music in plays in general? Because you say that you're the only one who really use these classical compositions.
As far as I know, I mean,
How cognizant do you have to be of the reader of this? See, it's not like a film where the music is just coming with the visuals. The reader either has to look this up or they have to know the piece themselves. So are you cognizant of not having too much obscure pieces in there and just using the stuff that's sort of like, or what is your thought process?
well, yeah, I mean, but I also ultimately it's to be made, and you if you've lived to the age of 20, even by the time you're going to maybe see the first play of any depth, you should know Beethoven's Fifth. Da, 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 da. You should know the Toccata Fugue. You know there are so many things. Even kids today who are not as culturally adept at things before their time as someone like I am, or a lot of other people. I was Jessica and I were just out to lunch today with one of the women that I interviewed. She lives here in Austin. This Amanda Reyes, who I've done 3 Dan Schneider video interviews with. She's very culturally cognizant. But you're going to know. Oh, you may not know it's Beethoven. You may not know it's Bach. You may not know, but you've heard that before, and you know that the Toccata Fugue has that horror organ droning, overwhelming sense. So that immediately puts you and the character in the sense that she's horrified with herself. And you're not gonna get that if I was to say, well, you know, if this was an obscure B-side of a 1992 single released by such and such pop band. Classical music has that advantage that it's been around for a few centuries and has so thoroughly penetrated that it's even more all-pervasive than the most pervasive music out there.
What do you think of introducing, say, more pop standards or rock music? Do you think that would work necessarily with plays, say, like a Martin Scorsese film would work?
It would, but I can't get the rights, so I'm not even bothering with that. I mean, I have to deal with public domain stuff, so right now it has to be 1922 or earlier.
So it's another fight against the ridiculousness of the public domain.
Well, no, the public domain is fine. The ridiculousness of copyright law currently.
And you have said before that in terms of copyright law, for instance, in Canada, it's 50 years past the death of the author.
Well, yeah, Canada is better in that sense. It's like 95 years in America, but Canada also has a lot of issues with free speech and whatnot. I mean, stuff I write here. If let's say, for example, there's a couple of the plays, like the short play where I use the word faggot and nigger a lot because there's a lot of young kids in the plays, and this is the kind of words that they used in the 60s and 70s and still do today. I mean, I just yesterday at the school I work at, I heard a couple of young black guys talking about fags and this and whatnot, and don't fuck me up the ass, you gay bitch, kind of thing. So people still do that, but living in Canada, if you wrote something like that, someone could probably, try to garnish your wages, from what I've read. So, for all the advantages Canada has in terms of like cultural stuff, like a national pension or nationalized health care, which has some issues, but it's still better than in the U.S. There is the downside that Canada doesn't value free speech or art the way we do here in America.
That's true, but one point I wanted to make in regards to copyright is the fact that, say, I remember this specific point. Nat King Cole is available in Canada, but he's not available in the U.S. And I've always thought that was such a bizarre thing, where an American item is available in a different country, but not available in the U.S. The copyright seems absolutely schizophrenic in its use.
There should be a global copyright law, and hopefully someday, and not be influenced by the Walt Disney Company or other companies. Every company should, or every country should follow by the exact same rules, and it should be, life of the author, and maybe give 20, 25 years in case the spouse outlives. But once the spouse is dead, that's it. You can't have this situation like with Stephen Joyce, getting rich off of his dead grandfather, who we met only 2 or 3 times from what I've read.